Hey, what's going on, guys? Mangum here, back with the Division 2 video. Alright, so we're going to get into title update 9, patch notes. Everyone else is covering patch notes and stuff. M1A nerf, okay. That's not what I'm here to talk about. I'm here to talk about the stuff that people aren't talking about, which are things that actually does and doesn't matter at the same time. So we'll go over a few things that don't matter. Tag team. Tag team doesn't matter. It never mattered. It never will matter. It's not a top tier talent. It's not even a good talent. Tag team states the last enemy that you damaged is hit with a mark. Dealing weapon damage to that enemy consumes the mark and reduces active cooldowns by 6 seconds. The cooldown on that is 4 seconds. Okay. I don't know what's up with these weird cooldown times. Some of them have cooldown times of 27 seconds. Don't know why you wouldn't just round up to 30. Some have weirder cooldowns of like 8 seconds. I don't get what these odd numbers are. So why would you use tag team? I can't. Tag team, if it was on a weapon, if it was a weapon perk for any weapon in the game, I understand. Tagging an enemy, reduce cooldowns, combine it with calculated, get even more cooldowns, increase your skill haste, get more cooldowns. You see, I'm talking about things that happen with synergy. Tag team doesn't synergize with anything, especially since it's, if I'm not mistaken, it's a backpack perk. So you're giving up damage or defense or actually a good skill for tag team. Even if it was a chest piece perk, it still would be trash. I don't care where tag team's at. It could be anywhere besides being on a weapon. It's still a trash perk. I'm going to continue to hate tag team until it's reworked into something viable, such as being a weapon perk. So even if it was back in my other video, go ahead and take a look at that. The holster talents need to be returned. Put tag team on a sidearm as a holster talent. Have it have a cooldown of 10 seconds. Let it work passively in the background. You know, maybe we'll get some traction. All right. Reassign. They said it got a buff. Oh man, let's go over this one. Killing an enemy adds 1 round of random special ammo into your sidearm. Reduce cooldown to 15 seconds, down from 20 seconds. So I kill an enemy. I do all this work, kill an enemy. I get 1 round of special ammo in my sidearm. Okay, a weapon I'm not using. All right. Reduce the cooldown to 15 seconds. So every 15 seconds, I can get 1 round in my sidearm. Okay, so that's great for something that I don't want to run. I'm going to put reassigned on my chest piece. I think it's a chest piece talent. It's like tag team. Nobody cares. Now, there's a talent that I do like in the game, tamper proof. Seems like it's got a lot of potential here, but it has a cooldown on it. I don't like it that it has a cooldown on it. It has a cooldown of 10 seconds for it to be active, up from 5 seconds. So, as far as I know, nobody's really running tamper proof, but you increase the cooldown from 5 seconds to 10 seconds on an arm time of 2 seconds. Does that mean that the cooldown is actually 12 seconds instead of it being 5 plus 2, 7 odd time? And then they have to walk within 3 meters. They got to be so close that they're damn near kissing it. So what's the benefit there? Don't know. Don't know if they just wanted to not stun lock people in certain situations. But then again, who's running tamper proof? There's not a lot of, if it was working with I don't know, the shock trap or the decoy. That could possibly work, you know. Get a little bit of chain effect going there, get a little bit more stun. Enemies push up on the decoy, they get you know, a little tagged by it, a little stun lock. That wouldn't be too bad. But it's specific to the hive, which doesn't last long enough for people to get stun locked by it. But I guess that was to prevent heavies from kicking it to death. Using it on the turret, I'm not throwing my turret out there anywhere close for anyone to be able to get within 3 meters of it, so that's dumb. And whoever is using the remote pulse, let me see your build. I need to know what you're doing with this remote pulse that no one else is doing with it, because it's a trash skill. So now we get into Creeping Death. Creeping Death, I talked about it in my last video, that you have to apply a status effect to enemies. Before the buff, it was 5 meters. Now it's 8 whole meters. Good gracious. We went up for a total of 3 meters, and it's still trash. So, reduce the cooldown to 15 seconds, down from 20. Remove the cooldown. It doesn't need a cooldown. It needs 10 meters. It needs to chain. It doesn't need it will just forget chaining. It would chain if it didn't have a cooldown. Get rid of the cooldown. Make it 10 meters. Let's make Creeping Death great again. Overcharged talents now properly state they don't work in PvP. I don't know why they kind of threw that in there under Creeping Death. Like, Creeping Death gets an overcharge. Kind of should have been its own little thing. But I guess people are playing Conflict somewhere in the world. Don't know. But Creeping Death doesn't get an overcharge. You can't overcharge Creeping Death. If so, you'd overcharge it to not have a cooldown. But it still has a cooldown. No one's using Creeping Death over Wicked, over, I mean, what's this one I got right here? Over Tech Support. They're not using it over Bloodsucker. They're not using it over the Casa's Backpack. If you want more status effects on enemies, you just hit them with more status effects. Bring out a Pestilence. Bring anything. What's this? What's that thing called? True Patriot. Debuffs for days. No Creeping Death. Now, Creeping Death procced with True Patriot, we may have a problem there. That would, maybe it would need a cooldown, but it doesn't. It doesn't do that. And then they totally neutered the send-off. The send-off got sent back. It got removed with the rooted talent that made it a good gun. I said in my last video, hosted talents need to return. And the KSG shotgun with the send-off, with what that is, perfect distance. Okay, I don't know who's cross-mapping with the send-off, but they sent that gun back to wherever it came from when it came down to using it. As far as builds go, this gun is gonna either be dismantled instantly now, or it's just gonna sit in the stash because maybe it'll get a buff later. I don't know. But the KSG shotgun isn't at 100% optimal range. I mean, it's a shotgun, still a shotgun, no matter which way you try to slice it. It's the optimal range of it is barely anything to write home about versus a regular KSG shotgun. You're gonna get a little bit more push out of it. Maybe if it had perfect perpetuation, okay, I can see that. I can see people using that. But I mean, massive is scared to make us powerful, so it wouldn't say killing an enemy repairs 15% armor over 7 seconds, because like I said, they're like odd times. And then headshots improve the repair by an additional 17%. So we're just using massive logic here to make up these fake numbers for a gun that's not going to get buffed anytime soon. So yeah, the sent off got sent back, and that's done. The firm handshake Status effects increase to 15%. 15%. That is great that 15%, I guess a 5% buff to it. Maybe it was 10% before. I don't use them. I don't use them because golden gear gloves exist. And I'm not running an SMG. I don't know who's running an SMG. I got my chatterbox. Don't even want to use it. It doesn't work viably in a build because assault rifles exist. It doesn't hold a candle to an LMG because LMG obviously has more bullets. But if the firm handshake was a golden gear handpiece, okay, now we're talking. We have plus 15%, plus 10%, we get 25% weapon. I'm talking about synergy again. I'm talking about things that Massive could have done to make a pair of gloves actually viable. That they either was afraid to make golden gear get extra status effects. We could just re-roll that anyway. We could take off the health or the armor regeneration and get plus 10% status effects. It gives us 20%, and then we don't got to run the firm handshake. I guess it ain't really that firm. It's kind of a loose one. It needs to get its grip strength up. It's not good enough. It's part of an SMG. It's part of an SMG sub archetype that nobody's caring about. I don't know who's out there with, was it Dark Winter and just tearing it up, but good luck. Signature weapons in the game I wanted to talk about for an extremely long time. They have the dumbest talent on them, which reduces damage against named NPCs. They said they increase damage to named NPCs, but why does it already do reduced damage against named NPCs? If I'm in a gunfight against a rogue, right? These rogue agents, we're going to get to those in a second. These rogue agents are a problem. They push, they tactically team up against you, they spam skills like they don't have cooldowns. They hit you with things that just doesn't make sense. But I digress. Reduce damage against named NPCs. If I'm pulling out this gun to hit somebody with it, it's probably a named NPC that I want to hit with it. My crossbow does 3.6 million points of damage. That's what it says. It says it does 3.6 million points of damage. Reduce damage against NPCs. It must hit like a Dark Winter because that named NPC gets hit with my named weapon and shrugs it off like we had a tickle fight. And I don't see where Massive was thinking that reducing damage against named NPCs was a good thing. Just take it off. Let's actually get some power under our belt. We have to do specific things and kill a certain amount of enemies to get this specialized ammo. But we can't use specialized ammo against special NPCs. So they want us to use our weapons against regular NPCs. I mean, hell, a red bar with a green bar up under it might as well be a named enemy because they don't have armor. So my damage to armor doesn't do anything. And then my damage to health can't rip through their green bar because it's not considered health. It's considered like a shield. So then they push up on me, cocking their weapon sideways and doing whatever they do, tactically avoiding the rapid fire of bullets coming from my gun. And then they down me. And then I look like I don't know what I'm doing. But maybe I should have took out my specialized weapon and hit that red bar, because if I tried to use it against a named NPC, I mean, it's just going to do reduced damage. So maybe that was my fault for trying to play the game, but whatever. Now, loot rewards. Loot rewards in the Title 9 update. It says increased power of dropped exotics to always have the highest tier. It's got a whole bunch of other stuff. Took some things out of the raid with the chest piece, and then they nerfed the amount of exotic components that you get. Don't know why. What was wrong with getting 2? Because they make it seem like we're getting flooded with exotics, and we're just breaking them down. I got too many sweet dreams. I just need to break them down. What am I going to do with all these exotic components? I have way too many. I don't, they reduced it from 2 to 1. It from 2 to 1. So now it's damn near it's a 1-for-1 exchange. What is I don't know what they're thinking. The missions or the developers need to come out with something to give us some numbers. We need numbers to know, hey, if you do normal, you get this percent. You do normal, you get this percent. You do hard, you get this percent. You do heroic, you get this. Legendary, yada yada. The legendary missions that they have in the game should do a guaranteed exotic, because those missions are way too goddamn hard. But I digress. The developers need to come out with real numbers. Last I checked, there was some data mined on this may be what the exotic drop rate chance is. 3.7 was like 2.37 something percent like that. It's all over the place. It sounds right, 2.37. Those sound like some massive numbers. They're odd and they're not well rounded. We can't get a 5, a 10, a 15%. And then you have to increase your chances with that by running in a group of a bunch of people, maybe randoms if you're matchmaking, hoping they don't glitch so you don't get banned forever, and then hoping that they want to share their loot with you. Maybe they want to sit on 4 Nemesis. I don't know. Maybe they need the exotic components because they want to re-roll their Coyote's mask for the 15th time. I don't know. But we're not drowning in exotics, and they're not even best in class. Not even best in class. So why not give them to us more to increase our dynamic gameplay, or so they say, to increase the way that we play the game in a more dynamic fashion. I've been grinding for the Merciless since the game came out. Never got it. Haven't got it. I got the Ruthless. I got a level 1 Ruthless that I can't do anything with. I can't even break it down. I can't even mark it as junk. I tried to donate it to a project. It was like, you don't have what you need to donate. I was like, well, you want a rifle? Take it. I can't even get rid of this thing for free. I can't get exotic components from it. It takes up a permanent 2. Well, I got that Lullaby and I got the Ruthless that I can't do nothing with because oddly enough, I pre-ordered the game thinking I was going to get 2 exotics and I have 2 bricks. So thank you, Massive. So fixed an issue causing low-level agents to deal higher than intended melee damage. Who are these brave level 3s walking up to people meleeing them? Melee, the claws out is like the only thing in the game that has increased melee damage for some odd reason. Took it away from shotguns, and now all these level 3s and level 15s and 27s are running around meleeing people like they just like they're bosses or something. I don't know. They're just badass dudes. Just pistol whipping people. So Massive decided to put a stop to that. So no more pistol whipping people in the streets of New York. So there you go. So now, out of all that, Title Update 9 is here, and people are crying about their baker's dozen and what have you, and all the other stuff. Get better guns, do other stuff. There are more guns in the game besides rifles. The reason why people like rifles, it's gonna round it all out. People reason like rifles is because rifles have a little dot in the middle of them, or they have a little arrow, a little chevron, and that indicates that is center of that thing. And when you shoot it and that dot or that chevron is on that target, you hit that target. I don't know what Massive's problem is with not giving us red dot sights or anything that has anything to do with specifically telling us that that's the center of the scope, but they don't want to give it to us. I got a pro red dot sight right here, and I've yet to see a red dot on my screen when using this in any shape or fashion, or even a red line coming out of my gun, or a green line, or whatever that these scopes are supposed to be. They don't help you scope. They got percentages on them and they sound cool. So anyway, with that, all good things must come to an end. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.